Hey guys, we are live. This is Jennifer from the Shooter's Mindset. We are here live tonight with episode 309. We've got our co-host Greg Cannon here in the house. How's it going, Greg?
Hey everyone.
It's going. Hope it's a short week with Labor Day and all that good stuff.
2.5 day work week.
I know. And our guest of the hour, the one that everybody wants to talk to because everybody has to put up with us every week. But Daniel McElroy, the product design director at Daniel Defense, is here with us. How you doing tonight, Daniel?
Doing well. Good evening, everybody.
So we'll go ahead and just jump into these questions. So for those of us that are unfamiliar with you, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got your start in shooting and in the gun industry and ended up with Daniel Defense.
Yeah. So Georgia boy, born and raised. Started shooting pretty much like most kids in Georgia with their dad teaching them. I was in the Boy Scouts, so they had, the shotgun and the rifle merit badges. And so I took those, and then as I got older, I actually ended up teaching those and found out a couple things. One, I like teaching about firearms, and two, I like, shooting. So that kind of just matured into what I'd say is most Georgia boy, but maybe not nowadays, but hunting and fishing, right? So all my shooting was based around, deer, turkey, dove, if you could eat it, you could shoot it kind of thing. And didn't really get into any long range shooting except for, out at the farm, like, hey, do you think you could hit a deer if it came out there, that tree line, and we'd go hang a piece of steel or, piece of plywood and go try and hit it. But we were kind of lobbing shots at that age. And yeah, I got on with Daniel Defense in 2005. No, sorry, 5 years ago, 2015. And yeah, I've been working with them for 5 years. It's been great. Started working with them as a manufacturing engineer. So more about cutting the chips and making the parts. And then I moved over to the design team and worked with the Delta 5 project.
Sweet. I think so much of long range goes back to hunting because a lot of guys, I think, get into it because of hunting and, they start with the rifle and zero in the scope, and then it kind of progresses on into the long range.
Mm-hmm.
Same skill set.
My comment here is that manufacturing engineers are the best engineers. Just saying.
Oh my word.
We are.
Engineers scare me.
Actually, the manufacturing engineers make the design engineers look good. So.
Or bad. It depends on the mood we're in. It depends on how often the design engineers bring donuts and biscuits and stuff. So we can either make you look like the best designer in the world or an absolute idiot.
I'll just give you a corner radius where you want it and make you happy.
Thank you.
That is hilarious. So we all know the name Daniel Defense, but where did the company get its start? Like it's a huge name now. It's all over. I know at SHOT Show, they sponsor SHOT Show. I know the app and everything is just, every time I go into it, Daniel Defense, Daniel Defense, Daniel Defense. Y'all have this massive, like 5 booths area. So how did Daniel Defense get to where they are? How did they actually start?
Yeah, so first to address all the advertisement at SHOT Show, it means that our marketing team does a very good job, right? If they find a piece that they can put an ad on it, they do it. So good job to them for kind of covering SHOT Show. But Daniel Defense started in 2001. And Marty Daniel, our owner, he'll tell you this. The reason he started shooting is because he sucked at golf.
Wait, the founder's name is Marty, not Daniel?
Marty Daniel. Daniel is his last name.
Okay. I was about to say, wait, I'm confused.
Yep. So Marty sucked at golf, picked up shooting, enjoyed it. And he wanted a flat top upper for his Colt. No one made one. So went to a shop and said, hey, I want one. Can you make one? And they said, yeah, but, and Greg knows what I'm talking about with economy of scale. To make 4 of them is going to be just as expensive as it is to make 100 of them. So
he
said, well, give me 100 of them. And, he used 4 of them for his personal use. And I'm sure a couple relatives got a couple for Christmas presents and stuff like that. But then he put them on a website and started selling them. He did the sling loop, which is basically all the end plates on AR-15 receivers that have the sling attachment point there. You know, DD started that, and DD really got its name, I guess, in 2005. We were awarded the SOCOM contract for the RIS-2 rail. So free floated rail that has the ability to mount a grenade launcher on it. One, coolness factor, right? You get a bunch of points for mounting a grenade launcher. But two, if it's strong enough to deal with that grenade launcher, it's strong enough to deal with a rough and tumble. So in 2005, we got that SOCOM contract, and that kind of put us on the map. We didn't do our first full gun until 2009. So, but when that started, that's when Marty kind of got this idea like, well, we can just make everything. So it's pretty interesting, like how many parts, you know, are made in-house versus, you know, parted out like some other companies do, which is not a bad thing. It's just, we have more control over, you know, the tolerances and everything we can do. We don't have to, you know, always have that fight with a vendor. We can do it our in-house and have our fight with our own MEs, right, Greg?
Right. We will fight.
Yeah, so that's full gun in 2009. And then, you know, a couple years passed, you know, we started doing our own furniture. We've been known for our free floated rails on our ARs. We did, in 2015, we did big bore. So we did the AR-10, or a DD-5 is what we call it. And that DD-5 was our first big thing outside of the AR-15 platform. And then when I came on, I helped push the DD-5 across the line. And we had 308 barrel blanks, right? And 308 barrel blanks, well, we've got lathes, and we've got, you know, I've got access to plenty of actions from my personal self. So we put on a DD-5 barrel blank onto it was a Defiance, or it was actually a Collier, which is a gunsmith in Millen, Georgia. He put on a DD-5 308 barrel blank. We put, you know, best trigger we could. We put it in a really nice chassis with all of the thought of that our barrel would be the weak link per se in accuracy, right? Everything else is perfect. Good gunsmith, good action, good trigger, good stock, good shooter. Our barrel should be the weak link. And when we shot it, it was like, wow, we make really good barrels, you know. And it was kind of a surprise because, you know, it's not that we didn't know we made good barrels, but there's a difference in semi-automatic, you know, accuracy requirements and bolt gun accuracy requirements. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just, you know, a 1-inch AR-15 is awesome. A 1-inch bolt gun leaves you wanting, you know, a lot. So we went forward with hey, we think we can do this. We got a really good barrel process that makes incredibly accurate barrels. Let's make another one. Let's keep doing this. And that kind of developed into the Delta 5 project.
Nice. So how long ago was it now that the Delta 5 was released, and how's the market kind of received that?
This was two SHOT Shows ago when we launched the Delta 5. Real good success, especially from us being an, you know, AR-15 black rifle company coming out with a bolt gun. Real happy with it. The, you know, police departments, recreational shooters, even to hunters. Got a guy take it up and kill a moose with one.
Nice.
So it was kind of like the general purpose rifle that was, you know, still super accurate, but it could be pushed into any purpose you needed for it to do. So
yeah, it definitely seems to be a solid all around rifle. So we kind of touched on this a little bit with the AR style stuff, and I'm not sure how deep we could go into this. Mm-hmm. But with the Delta 5, how much of that is Daniel Defense? Like how much of that is made in house versus just with the base model?
With the Delta.
Yeah.
So everything except, and I'm sorry, I'm a visual person. I'm staring at one.
I do the same thing.
The trigger is a Timney. And then the molded parts, like the polymer, those are injected off-site, but they're all our designs and our tools. But they're injected off-site. So the barrel, the rail, the chassis base, connector block, buttstock frame. I mean, the thumb screws that you tighten down to set your, like, all of that's made. We don't make our own set screws, right? We buy screws.
That is called good manufacturing. It is not worth it to design your own set screws.
Yeah. So I'd say 95% of it's in house.
That's really awesome. From a manufacturing perspective, that makes it really easy for you guys to kind of deliver a product as you would want it versus dealing with suppliers. And it's cool for you guys to have that much control over what you're putting out the door.
And it really comes back to accountability, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have that much of it, if something's not right, it's someone on your team that's held accountable for it. So it helps out.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I know it was Daniel, I did 3-gun before this. So Daniel Defense was like the big 3-gun rifle, right? And my
Yep.
friend Jimmy Oliver.
Oh yeah.
Hey Jimmy, if you're watching, I haven't seen you in forever. But yeah, so that was kind of like what was in my head for Daniel Defense. And so I know at SHOT Show 2 years ago, I was walking by and I was like, they have a bolt gun? Like it was odd. SHOT Show goes in cycles, right?
Yeah.
It will be the year of the revolver and then the year of the AR-15 and then the year of the bolt gun, and that year was the year of the bolt gun. It's like everybody was coming out, it seemed like, with bolt guns. It was so odd. And I was like, Daniel Defense made a bolt gun?
Yeah.
So I wandered over there, and I think that's actually, we were talking in the pre-show, that's when I met you, was going through that rifle. So it's kind of interesting, but it's very funny how it's progressed over.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of that comes from, the trends in the shooting industry, right? I shot 3-gun before I shot PRS, and that was the thing, right? Like, I had the shotgun perfectly tuned in, had my Daniel Defense AR just slicked up, ready to go, tweaking the Glock for every little advantage you could get. And now all that minuscule planning goes into one gun in the PRS world. So
that's awesome. So that first rifle that came out was just the Delta 5.
Yes, ma'am.
But now there's a new edition.
Yeah. So we have the Delta 5 Pro, which if y'all want, I can just do like my little go over all my feature sets, but I'm gonna have to pick up the rifle because I'm tired of looking down over my shoulder.
Go for it.
So this is my personal Delta 5 Pro.
It's so pretty.
So started the muzzle. So it comes with a Area 419 Hellfire 3-port brake.
Nice.
Probably first thing you'll notice is this is what we call in the shop the truck axle. It's 910 at the muzzle, so somewhere in between a heavy target and like an MTU profile. It's a straight taper back. And then it gets to our barrel. So this is a 26-inch 6 Creed, which in maybe the tactical world isn't as prolific, but in the PRS world, if you don't shoot something that starts with a 6, it's kind of game over. Not that people can't compete in 308 or whatever, but it's definitely at least the SAMI cartridge to start out with.
What all calibers does this come in, just while we're talking caliber?
308, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 6 Creedmoor.
Sweet.
So I don't know. Probably the camera won't pick it up. Yep, no, that's not happening. But the barrels, so and I'm going to try to not get on a rant when I talk about this, but so our barrels are extremely accurate, and yes, they're cold hammer forged, right? And I'm sure the comment section just went, you know, like, if you don't have a single cut barrel, you're a loser. But there's you can make a bad cold hammer forged barrel. It takes a lot of know-how to make them correctly. And probably the biggest advantage that we have is if you're going to cut any chamber, right? Which I think anybody can agree that it doesn't matter if you have, you know, a high-end barrel. I don't want to name names, but if you have a high-end barrel manufacturer that's known good and you do a bad chamber job on it, it's not going to shoot, right? Mm-hmm. If you have run out in your reamer, it's not going to shoot. So the way that we manufacture these is we forge the OD of the barrel, the outside, the bore, and the chamber all at the same time. So for you machinists out there, we never let go of the part and then have to indicate it back in, right? So that's huge in the machining world or manufacturing world. So the almost perfect concentricity between the chamber, the OD, and the bore is something that lets us, you know, get all the, or squeeze all the advantages out of it, as well as just the materials that we use. So we have a proprietary hammer forging blend that, you know, we actually specify on our print for the chemical composition of how we want it made. We spent a lot of money on our barrel material, so we're already using such a premium material that other people, you can't, you know, they're not really getting into those because they don't need those mechanical properties because they're not forging it. Sorry, I know I nerded out there, and I'll get off my soapbox.
I was going to say, I'm going to let Greg comment on that.
Now we get into forging's above me. I got machining, I got assembly, but
yeah. So we can circle back to the barrel, and I'll argue and rant with whoever what he wants to later. But we'll keep moving on so we don't lose all of your viewership. So it gets to the forearm or the rail. So plenty of M-lock on the side. You can see I actually have a weight kit on the front, you know, to kind of balance that rifle about that front main screw. We do have a front, I guess I should put it where you can see the daggum thing. Sorry, people. It does have a front bridge, which works nice to, you know, if you want to mount NV or thermal in front, but it also works, put those like little M-lock grip panels. And it's just one more thing to keep that Mirage from popping up in front of your scope. We do have the scallop cut on the top of the rail, and that's to allow that front bezel to get as low as possible. Not that, you know, you can be accurate with that scope off the center line. The measurement just has to be real exact to not increase your margin of error. And then probably the cool fancy feature, right, is the arc lock, which, you know, we're not the first to do a really right stuff dovetail on the chassis. You know, it's integrated in there. But we got with Area 419 and you know, got into an agreement where they let us use the actual scallops on the side. So there's a mechanical stop. A really nice feature that I like because something inside of me just didn't like friction being the only thing. So that was nice. Moving towards the rear, you'll notice the rail and the chassis are two pieces. If you imagine a V block, this top line being one of your V's, this bottom V being another one of your V's, and then these bolts they're countersunk and they're offset just a little bit so that when you tighten the bolt down, it forces the rail back into that V. So it's a solid lockup. There's no flex there. So
good design there.
Right in front of there, you have your barrier stop, right? That's just to kind of protect your mag from whether it be your front bag or a barricade, something's going to hit it, right? So just offer a little bit of protection there. Takes AICS single feed mags. It'll ship with a AICS Magpul 10 rounder, but it'll work with, you know, AI, MDT, all those. And as long as it's a single feed mag, it'll work. Moving back, you have the AR-15 grip. So that's the standard mil standard AR-15. So it'll come with this DDM4 pistol grip, which is kind of like a 1911 grip angle. Some people like them more vertical. Some people want them swept. We knew whatever pistol grip we chose, someone was going to be mad at us. So, you know, so we put a grip on there and didn't, instead of going and putting a $50 grip on there and then having to upcharge on the rifle, we gave you a really nice grip that feels great in the hand, but it's also economical, allowed us to hit that $24.99 price point. And if you want to change it, right? You're not going to hurt my feelings.
And it's a standard AR pattern, so it's really easy to change too.
Yeah, the only thing is those ones that have those crazy beaver tails up top, you might have to trim that up with a little pocket knife safely and cut away from the body, right? I don't want a lawsuit coming back at me.
You just drum it.
Ambidextrous mag release. Sometimes I like to use my trigger finger. Sometimes I like to rip the mag with my working hand. Thumb stop uses a Torx bit. You just take it and you can move it forward or back, or swap it around forward or back, and then you can swap it to the wrong side of the rifle.
Nice.
If you shoot, weak side, you have your thumb over there, or you can shoot correctly with your thumb on the right side of the rifle for righties.
I love your design on that, how it's captured by the channel, so you still have the adjustability, but you have the mechanical lock of the pocket in the side of the chassis. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so instead of running a separate alignment pin or locator, it's in that channel. So yeah. And then like me personally, like I take skateboard tape and put it right there, but it looks kind of janky, so I took it off for the video. I got a whole roll of skateboard tape that gets used around here. Moving to the buttstock, this has pretty much any change you need it to do. So first off, all of these knobs are friction-based knobs, right? So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. But then something we've also done is everywhere there's a knob, there's set screws on the opposite side, or at least threaded holes that'll come with set screws in them. So that allows you to, one, you can just remove the set screw and then take your knob and put them on the other side. So you can run the knobs on the left side for whatever reason you're wrong-handed, or you can take the knobs completely out and torque all the set screws down, and then you can run a slick side with nothing on that side. So, whether it's a snag point or you just want it to look different, it has that ability. Cheek riser, obviously up and down, also drifts left and right, toe in, toe out. We all know that a line is more better than a point, right? So we don't want a fulcrum on our face. We want a line of contact. So that's how my face is set up. Your face may differ. So you can change it, right? So the whole idea is that it'll fit your face. Length of pull is set with a thumb wheel in and out. Again, you just loosen the set screws, run it in and out. And then your length of pull height. And then we actually watermark, and I'm going to do this without flagging myself and hopefully without knocking my computer over. So they're watermarked. Here, we might just do this. So y'all see the watermarks?
Yes, now we do.
There we go. So it's just a ruler, right? But what it lets you do is, I know that I run 5/8 of an inch up. So I set it up at 5/8 and I lock it down. And if I need to clean my rifle, whatever reason, need to get through that bore, I can take my butt pad adjustment, slide it down, get it out of the way. And then I can easily get back to my same thing without having to find that perfect spot. Oh, where was it? And I get to leave the Sharpie marks off of it for, indexing everything. And if that wasn't enough adjustment, one more adjustment is if you take the screw almost all the way out, that screw in the back, there's two of them that go into these main posts. It allows for basically camber. So you really can, people's bodies are built differently. So tried to account for everything that way. I'm sure someone's going to find some adjustment that we didn't think of, and maybe that'll be the Delta 5 Pro. I don't know.
Pro.
I'd say it seems like you got pretty much every adjustment you could think of on that thing. So from the live with the 419 rail, what kind of bipod mounts or adapters would you use to fit on that? What would you recommend?
For the Arcalock?
Yes.
I mean, you're going to get the most out of an actual Arcalock clamp, because the Arcalock clamp actually has those 3 dowel pins, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And those actually, lock into the teeth. But any Really Right Stuff, as long as it meets Really Right Stuff print, it'll meet on this dovetail.
Gotcha.
So you don't have to be worried about, Really Right Stuff did a great thing by making that standard, right? That everybody could make their stuff to. So you can do a friction-based system. I suggest the Area 419 clamps. If you're strapped for cash and you don't quite want to get to this setup, you can run an M-lock, or you can run a pick section there, or a M-lock to stud if you're running a Harris or something like that. So
awesome.
Pretty adaptable.
Mm-hmm. It seems like there's pretty much every way you can think of it, you can go into that gun. So we mentioned the silly people that shoot the gun with the wrong hand for some reason.
Silly people. A silly person just won shooting the wrong hand.
She did, and imagine how much more she'd win if she learned how to shoot with the correct hand.
I don't know. She's pretty good with the left one.
I know that is true. She kicks everybody's ass with it. But anyway, these wrong-handed people, a lot of them have been asking if you guys have any intention of making a rifle for them with a bolt on the wrong side and all that other weird stuff.
we're just teasing lefties. I mean, my best friend growing up, he's a left-handed, right? But he shoots a right-handed rifle because he refuses to pay the extra $200 for a lefty, right? As far as like us going to lefty, it's really based off of customer demand, right? I mean, that's where everything's driven. If enough lefties make enough comments, I don't know if that guarantees it will make a lefty, but that's where that drive comes from.
There you go, lefties. Blow up the comment section that you want a lefty.
This is your chance. Speak now, right?
Show up in the parking lot with some signs.
Don't do that. We're a secure facility.
Oh, side of the road.
Yeah.
Maybe don't do that.
Yeah, maybe
on the news.
Oh yeah.
That would be bad. So you went through all the adjustments and showed them. So if you had a stage where you had to shoot support side and you needed to change all the adjustments because you're going to be shooting the other side, how easy are all the adjustments?
So mine are locked down with all the set screws so that people don't mess with them in the between stages and try and mess me up. Because I know you guys are out there. People that slip windage knobs on Night Force scopes. I see you. But if you don't have those set, I mean, it's seconds to change it over. I actually had to shoot lefty at that last Cool Acres. Mm-hmm. They called out a weak side shoot, and I was able to do it without making any actual adjustments to the rifle. So, but I didn't clean it. So maybe if I would have made the adjustments, I would have cleaned it. I'll blame it on those adjustments. Thanks. I haven't used that excuse. I like that one, Jen.
You like that excuse. So see,
yeah.
So yeah, I'm here to help you out.
So we got a couple live ones. My brother wants to know, what if the customer demands a rimfire?
I mean, nothing's out of the scale of possibility. I will say, like, people thought that Daniel Defense was an AR-15 only company up until 2 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. So if that's something that's in demand, then that's something that we're going to pursue. Daniel Defense as a company wants to be a firearms manufacturer. We don't want to be the best ARs or the best bolt guns. We want to make the best everything we can. So.
Mm-hmm. And so Gina's over here killing it with facts and stuff. So like we might not need this protest. Lefties are 30% of the shooting community. If you add in the right-handed people who are cross-eye dominant, it seems like a large enough of a market share.
That is a good point. How many right-handed shooters know that they're cross-eye dominant?
I know of 2 people that I shoot with.
So it's more about education, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to get those people educated that they need to be using the correct eye.
Maybe it's never mind. I'm not going to be ugly. I was about to say maybe some people just that are not hitting things. I mean, like at 300 yards, maybe they are
Like
cross-eye dominant and they don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, part of it just comes into the fact that, we've got everybody thinks that Daniel Defense is this massive company, right? And we're bigger than a lot of companies, but we're less than 250 employees, and most of that is on the shop floor. So our engineering team, we have priorities, right? So we've got a bunch of cool projects that we're working on, and no, I can't tell you about them. But, that stuff just comes into what helps us, down the road and gets us into cooler products sooner. And I think lefty is something that can definitely be looked at. So.
Let's hit discount corner.
All right.
Go ahead, Greg. I'm gonna let you start.
All right. I have the code Mindset10. It's in all caps. It'll save you 10% off of all Phone Scope products on their website. They're famous for the Phone Scope, which is an awesome training aid, or just like making awesome videos for Instagram. They have a lot of other cool little gear on there as well. If you've not been on their website to check it out, you definitely should.
Is that all?
That's all. I'm not as popular as you.
I don't have very many either, but I thought you had another one. But okay. So you can get 10% off at Under Industries with you just message the Under Industries page on Facebook and mention the Shooter's Mindset. They make awesome jerseys, hoodies, arm sleeves, masks, whatever you want. I think he could do masks with your sponsors if you wanted. You could walk around with a mask. Anyway, check them out. Veteran-owned company. So definitely try and support them. They've done a lot with making masks during the pandemic. You can also get 10% off at carbonarms.us if you're a 3-gunner and want to get some shotgun shell caddies and all those shotgun things. And I feel like I had another one, but maybe not. That might be all. Tactical is a show discount. You can get 10% off with TSM10 at Tactical also. So I think that's about all. So you guys probably make more of your own rifle than a lot of companies out there, but I see you've added some components from Area 419, which is an awesome company. They make great stuff. Craig and them are doing amazing things. So can we expect to see more of a partnership with them in the future?
Well, first off, shout out to Craig and John, great group of guys over there. I met Craig shooting at K&M last year. Basically started talking shop, right? Because we both like machining and how things are made and precision. And I've been running a 419 brake way before the Pro. It's just a great product. And then the Arca lock was just a no-brainer. Like if they'd let us use it, why try to make something new, with a different shaped tooth or something, you don't want to infringe on patents, but why go around that when you have something that works so perfectly? So I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility. They're a great group of guys. We like working with them. I'm sure they like delivering breaks to us, so hopefully we can keep that relationship going. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't work with them in the future.
I really like, I think that they really think through what people want, and they really are trying to kind of meet the shooters where they're at. So
Yeah, I mean, they geek out
their
over
products. Yeah.
So everybody geeks out over stuff. It's just the people that have the know-how to get it done, right? So I think it's been a great relationship. So Craig, if you're listening and you disagree, just shout out in the comments, and I'll redact my previous statement, I guess.
Of course, the partnership's going to continue. We got any live, Greg?
Let's see. Wade wants to know if it's a 2-lug or a 3-lug action.
It's 3-lug. So
I like 3-lugs.
there we go.
Don't worry about that light. It's okay.
I forgot it was a 26-inch barrel instead of a 24-inch barrel. I mean, I screwed up. So 3-lug. Third lug's 12 o'clock. Seiko style extractor, basically a dog leg extractor. M16 ejector. Uses a floating bolt head. And one of the things that's it's been mentioned before. So we purposefully, like, when people say, oh, the bolts, kind of loose, like, why didn't you machine it tighter? Like, or they don't think we can machine it tighter. Like, we're holding very tight tolerances on this ground material, and we're holding very tight tolerances on our wired action. So, that's designed in there basically because while PRS is a large, audience that we want to reach, another big audience is military law enforcement. And to pass the dirt and debris test, where you basically bury the rifle in, different size particulates, everything from moon dust down to, playground sand, it has to be able to clear out and operate. So those tolerances are there to allow you, every time you run that action, it actually clears the action of dirt and debris. So
I'm still getting Utah dust out of my gun and gear.
yeah,
It was everywhere. I swear that stuff is like moon dust. It was like, it got everywhere.
Yeah, the rifles smell like lighter fluid when we're done with that, because you're flushing out trigger packs and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that was. There was
I think that's the dirtiest my rifle's ever been. Well, other than LRSC, but
oh god,
that was mud. This was just dust. I don't know how it was crazy. I've never seen dust like that. We don't have that dust in the South.
No.
Thank God. I could not imagine dealing with that after every single match.
Yeah. Just like fine little sand.
In everything. Speaking of other companies that you guys work with while we're on that, you also have components from both Magpul and Timney on the rifle?
Yeah. I was trying to think Magpul for a second, but the magazine, yes.
Magazine.
Yes. Magpul's been great. We've had a working relationship with them for a while. Our first ARs ran Magpul buttstocks. So until we decided to do our own, they were our main supplier for that. They still do magazines for us on some platforms. Great partner. Happy with them. And then Timney. Yeah, we worked with Timney on the Hunter Elite they designed the trigger, and then we ran heavy endurance testing on these rifles, and we wanted to tweak a few things, spring rates or material or heat treat or something like that, just for some rough and tumble stuff when you're putting the amount of high round counts that we were on these bolt guns. So we kind of fine-tuned it back into the Hunter Elite. And then, so Timney actually, they have receivers, call them, parent receivers. Every Timney trigger is installed into that receiver and then tuned to our standard receiver, and then they're shipped to us. So each trigger is set up for our receiver when we get them in. So they've been great to work with. Just that, that extra touch of not just like, okay, everything should work. No, it's already been in a Delta receiver and it's been tuned. So
Sweet.
That's really cool to have companies like that you can develop relationships like that with. That
I will say, like read your owner's manual, right? So, so we knew that not everybody's going to run a Timney. Some people are going to want to switch it out. And so there's a slot here on the bottom of the trigger guard. So I do this without knocking the light again. Yes, that little slot that allows you to access the bottom of the trigger, right? Well, on a trigger tech, that's how you adjust pull weight, right? Well, on a Timney Elite Hunter, just read the instruction manual. That's not how you adjust pull weight on a Timney. That's how you adjust sear engagement. So if there's a piece of
those are very different things.
Don't move this knob because of this nice colorful glob of goo, that's basically a witness mark. Don't move that. I promise you it's been tuned to like no touchy.
Oh man, that would be a mistake.
No tinkering, huh?
And so speaking of triggers, so it is a standards like 700 pattern trigger?
Yep.
Sweet.
It'll fit, if it fits a 700, it'll fit us. The only thing is if your 700 has the bolt release little paddle on the side, you have to take that off.
It's easy enough.
But that's 2 pins, and a lot of triggers don't even come with that. So
very cool. Very
Sweet.
cool.
So if somebody wants to try out the new Delta 5 Pro, are you going to be at any events where they can demo it?
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna get these out of order, so forgive me, but I know I'll be up at the Cool Acres regional. I bring my rifle, and I always bring extra ammo. I was actually squatted with Greg last time we were up there, and had a guy that he made a mental error, and he had a reshoot for the stage, but he didn't have enough ammo to do that stage and the rest of the match. So I was like, dude, I brought extra ammo. Here's the dope. I've already ran the stage. The dope's good. I'm not going to throw you off. Just run the rifle. So, he was able to run it. He enjoyed it. That was a prototype rifle. So it was a little sneak peek. But in any of my equipment, I don't mind. And I think most PRS shoot, maybe not with their gun, but most PRS shooters are just like, here's my equipment, use it. It's probably the most like friendly community of like, oh, you got to try this. It's cool here. There's not a lot of selfishness in the PRS community, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that was a really fun match because we had a bunch of decent shooters on our squad and then a bunch of brand spanking new shooters on our squad. And it was literally like, no, don't run here. Run this back on the stage. Trust me, you don't want to use your little one.
Yeah.
And that was just a fun. I started off shooting actually really good for myself, and then I forgot to drink water, I think, and around the offhand stage, I just kind of fell off of a cliff. But still, just being able to sit there and spend some time coaching and helping some of the new shooters and watch them shoot better the next stages was just awesome for me.
Yeah, I brought a coworker that just joined the DD team, Mike, and he had never shot a PRS before. Literally, like the Monday before, I sent out an email that's like, hey, if anybody wants to shoot this match, I'm going. Or if they just want to go watch, because, people are intimidated on going and shooting. And he's like, I'm down, but I don't have a rifle. And I'm like, well, good thing you work at Daniel Defense, because we happen to have a couple of them. So literally, like, we built the gun, got it scoped, got his dope, and then like did like a 2-hour range session like Thursday evening after work, and he shot his first PRS match, Saturday. And I was more excited when he was getting hits than when I was getting hits. So
it's awesome. That's why I love Gap Grind.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so sorry, I didn't mean to completely hijack your question there, Jen. I'll be at Gap Grind. And then Daniel Defense is sponsoring a side stage.
Oh.
So I think Shannon has us out next to the PRS barricade. We're going to have a little tent set up, and we're going to have Delta 5 Pros, and we're going to run a little competition.
Ooh.
So I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's, based on speed and accuracy and all the other things that go into PRS. But there's going to be a prize for the pro. There's going to be a prize for the AM, and these are going to be very nice prizes. Extremely nice prizes.
Like a Delta 5 Pro.
Like some nice prizes. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Yeah, you know. And who knows? This maybe already went out on the PRS Facebook, and everybody already knows. But I don't get on Facebook enough to notice those things. So I'm just trying to not be the person to give it away and get my hand slapped tomorrow morning when I go into work.
I hear you've already been threatened with that.
Yeah.
You can't give away all the secrets, but if you're going to, you should do it on the Shooter's Mindset.
Yeah. They'll be really, I mean, obviously, like, we're going to do the prize table, right? So we're there to help support that, but also that side stage, because one of the things I think for this product is, like, you got to get behind the gun and you got to run it, right? So run the gun hard. That's where you can start telling the difference between an okay gun and a great gun, right? Is the harder you run that gun, the good guns start to separate themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to get a chance for pros and amateurs to get behind the Delta 5 Pro and just hammer it, right? Gas pedal and really see how the gun performs. And maybe the pros are like, hey, you know, like, it's not quite my custom built that I, you know, spent years developing everything how I want it exactly, but that's a really good rifle. For the AMs, it's something that, you know, whether they got into the sport at an entry level and they want to jump up, or if it's a pro shooter that wants to get a trophy on the production class, you know, he can hop on this bandwagon of production class and outshoot some of the open stuff and get a trophy, and it'll be good.
Nice.
And then outside of Gap Grind, I know I'm shooting, it's not a PRS thing, but I'll be at GTI's sniper comp. We'll probably, what I'll do is I'll just talk to our marketing team and see if they can't list, like, if I'm going somewhere. Because that's the thing is you got to get behind it and you got to shoot it, right?
Mm-hmm.
To know how good it is or how good it isn't, right? It's up to you to decide.
Yep.
It's awesome. Wade wants to know if you'll be in Alabama this weekend.
I will not. I'm sorry.
I will.
I will be.
I will be.
I know. I was going to get berated for that one, but, you know, prior obligations, need to help some friends out with stuff. So, you know, got to take care of them. So
I feel you there. Phil wants to know what degrees the bolt throw is. 60. And Derek wants to know, how is hammer forging beneficial to the barrel? Okay.
So I'm not going to speak for all hammer forging because I don't know how other companies do it, but I'll talk about how we do it, right? So hammer forging, you know, you basically are forming the metal by beating it into submission around a predetermined shape, right? There's probably a more scientific way of saying it, but that's what it is. When we do that, so first of all, we're doing pre-work to that bore before it's hammer forged, so it's a really nice finish. And then when it's actually getting formed, you're getting, I mean, basically mirror geometry off of the mandrel, which is the carbide piece that it's actually getting formed around. So we're able to get geometry inside the bore that you can't get by cutting the bore or by cutting the rifling. So it's, you know, everybody knows that change and, you know, you can get tighter, but if your twist starts to slow down, you'll have issues. Or if the bore has an issue and it opens up a little bit and then gets tighter. So, you know, being able to have that bore slowly get tighter all the way till the end, make sure that you get a perfect seal. There's just geometry, and even in the geometry as far as like the chamber, you know, to the throat, to the lands, all of that geometry, we're able to forge geometry that you can't cut. So I think that's a safe way of not getting fired and talking about the proprietary process that we do. We'll find out tomorrow. So,
So if you're unemployed, if we see your resume out, we know you got.
yeah. I will say, so our barrels will last a lot longer than other companies' barrels because of what we do. So what's the going, like 1,500 rounds for a six creed?
12, 15 in PRS. This
Yeah,
is kind of on the higher end. I know some people change them at 1,000, but that's.
Yeah, some people don't feel comfortable after 1,000. They don't know when it's going to go.
Mhm.
I have 2,000 on mine, and I have no issues going into a match. And I probably won't change mine until a much higher number. I'm not going to discuss that number because it's all based off of how you treat your rifle. But much higher, you'll get a lot more barrel life out of our process than you will a cut or buttoned rifle. And then particularly on ours, so you talk about like buttoning, you're inducing stress when you pull that button through, right? So we're obviously inducing stress when we're hammering the steel right around the mandrel. But we have all those stresses are never relieved from machining. So because we don't turn the outside of the barrel and it's actually forged, and if you get to see one, you'll see it looks almost like a snake skin, or it has all these little diamonds on it. That's where the forge is actually hitting it. Because we don't turn it, we're able to get a barrel that's extremely straight. So all of the residual stress is equal, which is a roundabout answer. I'm skating a fine edge because we're the only ones in the world that I know of that do the OD, the chamber, and the bore. I mean, there's some companies that do, the OD and the bore, but then they cut their chambers. But I'm pretty safe in saying we're the only ones in the world that do OD, bore, and chamber all at the same time.
That's awesome. So if we want to pick one of these up, where will they be retailed at? Will they be in some of the big box stores like Academy or Bass Pro, or just hiring gun stores?
So this is going to be a first for Daniel Defense. It's actually available at Daniel Defense only.
Oh.
So no big box as of now, no distribution as of now. We really, squeezed all the meat off the bone on this one to get it at $24.99 because we really wanted to hit that production price point, and we really wanted to give as much value as we could direct to the customer. And in order to do that, we just weren't able to go through distribution at this time. So it's only available at DanielDefense.com. You choose your caliber, what barrel length you want, the contour of the barrel, so varmint is going to be the heavy, that's the new contour, or H Palma. It's a H Palma because it's straight and then it has a separate contour. So there's two contours in that barrel. But it's about $750 at the muzzle. So a little bit lighter barrel. And then color.
What colors is it available in?
Oh, marketing's going to kill me for not knowing the official names. Black, I know that one. Coyote tan, and I think it's just olive drab green. But
okay.
Mud and forest, mud and green, right? So
You don't have a lime green offering?
no lime green offering at the time. I think you're going to be stuck in the boat with the lefties asking for that.
Oh, dang.
Wow. You just got burned.
But because like the PRS rule book calls Cerakote out as a different cost, just how you're allowed to add a muzzle brake or that kind of stuff. So even though it's $24.99 for the black one, and then the other two Cerakote options, it'll say $24.99 plus whatever our Cerakote cost is. I think it's like $170 for the whole thing to get coated. So, but all the colors will still be under the PRS rules because it's still an MSRP at $24.99.
Gotcha.
Very cool. So what other matches or events do you have coming up? I know you kind of told us a little bit about where you're going to be. You got anything else in the lineup?
Looking at, I mean, GTI Sniper Comp is the last one that I have actually like on the calendar, like I'm going to go to, but I'm kind of itching to get into more matches. Biggest problem is it's in Georgia, at least, you know, it's hot. So, you know, you want to wait till in the fall to go shoot, but that's where deer season comes into play. And as much as I love shooting PRS matches, I really like shooting deer. So I find myself in the woods. I'll do a little private PRS match with hopefully a couple, you know, 10 points out there. So
Nice. Robbie wants to know how quick is delivery on one.
So right now so we opened up a pre-sale. That was a, you know, X amount of rifles, and then those rifles are going to be built so that I don't get anybody's hopes up. I'm gonna look at my calendar here. The week of the 14th is when they'll get built, so they'll be shipped by Friday. And then after that, that's when they are actually like on sale from the website. Just we wanted to give an opportunity for the PRS guys to get a head start and pre-order if they wanted to. So yes, the 18th is when they'll be done. So they'll ship out then. For those that did pre-orders, the other people, it's first come, first serve on the website. I know the pre-orders sold out pretty quick, so.
Yeah, at that price, it wouldn't surprise me if they did.
Yeah. Do y'all have contracts on this? I know your ARs, you have a lot of contracts where you're like police, not like Leo contracts and stuff. So do y'all have anything lined up with the bolt guns?
I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This is being fielded currently. So.
Okay. I won't ask anymore. I don't want you to get fired.
I know I can't say department names, but you know, we've been, like I said earlier, the PRS is a huge community that we want to cater to, but Daniel Defense's bread and butter for a while has kind of been that, we call it the MILE team, which is military law enforcement. So we gotta take care of the guys that are taking care of us, right?
That's right. Most definitely. We got any more live, Greg?
We got a lot of people asking about the barrel life and what rounds we're using to achieve this barrel life. Are we using hand loads or factory ammo?
So all of the testing that we did for 6 Creedmoor was based off of the 107 grain Sierra Federal gold medal match and the 108 grain Hornady ELD match.
Okay.
So long boys.
Mm-hmm.
All factory loaded.
So it shoots factory ammo well?
Yes. So I guess the thing I should have started out with is it's a half-minute guaranteed rifle. It's a production class half-minute guaranteed rifle. So we've shot a bunch of them. We know they'll do it. And Daniel Defense has one of the best warranties in the industry. If you have an issue with it, call us up. We take care of it. You either send your rifle in and we fix it. We swap out a barrel. Like for some reason, we're humans. We make mistakes. Somebody nicks the crown or something like that, and it gets installed and we don't catch it, and it gets out and it gets to you, and this thing's shooting .9s. You call us up disappointed, and we're going to get that rifle back in. We're going to shoot it first of all to make sure that you're just not a bad shot, no offense, and then we're if there's an issue with it, we'll swap the parts out and get the rifle back out right up to you. So it's really like you're guaranteed to get a rifle that's going to shoot a half minute.
It's awesome. Any more live, Greg?
No more live.
No more live. I think we can wind it down to shout outs then.
All right.
We'll let you get started with those.
All right. I'm going to start with Gsl Suppressors. I have 2 waiting for me at Crackshot Pawn and Firearms whenever the ATF deems me worthy to take home my barrel mufflers. Shooters and Sharpshooters of Augusta, our local ranges here. PDC Custom, they do offer a beautiful lime green rifle chassis, as well as normal human colors. Phone scope, the coolest little gizmo you could stick on the side of your scope. Shooter's World powder. Everyone's talking about trying to find their varget, but I have pounds and pounds and pounds of Shooter's World precision, getting single digit SDs and hitting stuff all day long. Hunter's HD Gold. I am blind as a bat, and it really helps me see. And Bortec. I got all the stuff out in the garage, cleaning up, getting ready for Alabama this weekend.
Sweet. Do you have any shout outs, Daniel?
No, just thanks to everybody that's helped, along the way. Craig with Area 419, Jason with Federal, Buck with CNH. And I'm going to miss them, and I'm going to get called out, and I'm going to get text messages. But thanks everyone that's kind of helped out, because I was new to PRS, and it's been a great community. Thanks Jennifer and Greg. Both of y'all have helped me out at matches before, so I appreciate the community. It's been a great experience, and we hope to keep moving forward with it.
Sweet. Well, my shout outs are GSL Suppressors. I also have one in jail that needs to hurry up and get out. Prime Ammo, Macmillan Stocks, Night Force Optics for great glass. Warren Scope Mounts. Trying to think of what else. I don't have my list in front of me. HD Gold, Bortec to keep my guns clean, and Under Industries for great jerseys. I think that's all. Maybe not, but I think it's close enough. And we just wanted to thank you, Daniel, for coming on and spending like an hour and a half of your Tuesday night with us and talking about the Delta 5 and kind of getting it out there a little bit more, the Pro, so that people know that it's there. And so that's going to be a wrap for episode 309 of the Shooter's Mindset. Y'all take care.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.